Not that anyone's asking me to, but I'd like to talk about accessing inner peace. If you watch my Suicide Widow Etiquette Pandemic Edition, which we're still in the pandemic, YouTube, I talked a lot about listening to my soul, and soul whispers are what healed me. And I want you to have access to that because, well, you always need that. But right now, like I'm living in a state that's on fire. You might be living in a state where you're experiencing floods or homes are being torn apart by tornadoes or hurricanes. There's a pandemic. People are at war about whether to wear a mask or not. People are at war about our humanity. And I think you need a refuge. You need a safe place, a real place to hit pause. We all get all riled up. I get all riled up too. But I need to, my goal in life is to love better today than I loved yesterday. To do that, I need to draw on that deep place inside all of us. So when I did that video, I didn't mean to, and I hope I didn't make it sound like that was easy, because it was not. But I want to share a story with you of how that process of accessing inner wisdom, the God in me, the still small voice, what started to break that open so that process would serve me for what I needed to deal with the loss of my husband. So this painting will distract you, but it was one of the first things I did when I started painting when I was doing my healing. I will try to show this. Messy truths left unhushed will tenderly, lovingly awaken clarity, hope, and peace. I really want to see the word peace because that's what I really want for you. Okay. So this story is crazy, and it's extremely crazy if you were me living through it, because I didn't have hindsight that I have today. Today we know I'm a suicide widow, and we know that I went through it all, and I'm fine-ish. I'm stronger for where I have been. But at the time this story happens to me, I don't know any of that. I don't know that my husband's going to end up taking his life. So this goes back 12 years, and I am having coffee reading the morning paper. And since it's 12 years ago, it literally is a newspaper I'm reading. I'm holding that, right? And I look up, and there's a full arched rainbow out my kitchen window. Now, when I was a little girl, and I was raised a good little Christian girl, I loved Noah and the ark, and that God was a white guy with a white beard judging me all the time. He was way up high in the sky, and he could paint hope, literally paint hope in the sky. I fell in love with that. So that God, white-bearded God, and I had a thing with rainbows. And that day I looked up, full arched rainbow. I'd been praying about something, and it was pretty serious something. And I thought, white-bearded guy was telling me that we got this. It'll be fine. And I said, thank you, God, said church lady. And I was a certified church lady at this time, too. And I went back to reading the paper, and I looked up again just to savor the beautiful rainbow one more time. When I looked up the second time, this rainbow was really intense. It kind of scared me. And if I'm honest, I knew at that point I was supposed to stop my world, big ask, and go sit with this rainbow. But that's crazy. I mean, who does that, right? So I went back, not true. I went back to pretend I was reading the paper. I couldn't concentrate because this unnerved me. So I looked up the third time, and now this rainbow it's fluorescent, it's daunting, it's demanding, and it's no longer optional to blow this rainbow off. So I go to sit with this rainbow. I go out to my living room because I have a better view of this full arched rainbow. But I don't go because I think, oh, goody, white-bearded guy is going to talk to me. Not at all. I'm going out there because I'm terrified. This doesn't happen. This is not normal. Nobody else is seeing this but me. And I go out and I sit down. And as soon as I do, this awful, opaque, syrupy-like substance starts black. It starts pouring out darkness one side of the rainbow, and it's devouring the landscape, and it's rushing towards the other side of the rainbow, and I can't bear it. I cannot see that darkness get to the other side of the rainbow. So I look back to where it started, and now this side of the rainbow is magical. It's iridescent. It isn't anything I can describe in human terms, but, and forgive me, love I call God, white-bearded guy would laugh at this too. If you're old enough and you remember Lucky Charms commercials, okay, the leprechaun should be coming out. And the message was clearly, even then, in the most simplistic way, I was being told things were going to get really bad and everything would be redeemed. And everything would be happily ever after, like a Lucky Charms commercial. And so I thought that was, of course, about what I had been praying about in that moment. And that issue was resolved within 3 days. So where does that leave me? I did say to White-Bearded Guy, who I still thought was White-Bearded Guy, that seems really dramatic even for you. But as my year unfolded, everything, all that darkness happened. I failed my mammogram, had to have a biopsy. My father had heart issues, got a little worse. My mom developed heart issues of her own. Then she got a virus and ended up, her kidneys were starting to shut down. We thought she was going to die. And I had an aunt in Portland who was ill, and we did not know yet what it was. And I was driving up every week to Portland to see her. And this year was very dark for my husband and I. His depression was getting deeper and darker and deeper and darker. So 1 year from that rainbow vision, he broke. And when that happened, he ended up in excellent psychiatric care in a hospital. And they try, I don't know any of this ahead of time, I know this now, they try not to keep you for a single weekend. He was there almost 3 weeks. And that was hell. And I was covering that up and pretending like he wasn't there because we didn't want people to know because of all the stigma on mental health. And when he finally got out, we drove up to Seattle. Our kids both lived in Seattle at that time. And that went okay. Nothing was going well. Got in the car, driving back, and I say to my husband, because I really, really hoped that this hospitalization was going to be finally the magic bullet that would heal him, because he was trying everything. He was trying so hard. And I said to him, do you feel better, honey? Did seeing the kids spark some joy? Do you feel better? And he grips the steering wheel and he says, Marley, I can't feel anything anymore. I feel nothing. I am so angry at this point, not with my husband. I'm angry with White-Bearded Guy. A year earlier, I got a rainbow telling me everything was going to be redeemed, and I was still only seeing the dark crap. I'm mad, and I throw a temper tantrum, and I'm like, where the hell are you, God? Literally, and I know if you're real religious, you think I'm damned to hell right now, and yeah, I was all of that. This is all silently. My husband has no idea what's going on. I'm so angry and so scared. And I'm just weary beyond words. And the passion that I gave, the anger, the vitriol, all that came right back at me in pure love. This was when Whitebearded Guy wasn't Whitebearded Guy anymore. I finally sort of caught on. Boom. Immediately, this full arced rainbow, like a tunnel, went right over the interstate. And my husband, who, remember, can feel nothing, he says, wow, that's quite a rainbow. I'm crying because I realize this huge love that is just palatable and as alive and as vocal as I was being right back at me. And love was telling me, I got this. I'm with you. I would never forsake you. I'm with him. I'm with you. And I didn't understand the full context yet, but the love I call God would know me well enough to know that I could blow this off. Even that. I mean, seriously, it'd take a lot to blow that off. It was really big. It was very dramatic, and it was very, 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 very loving. So on the drive home, I got not one, not two, but 3 partial rainbows before we pulled in our driveway. That's how out loud and how intimate this love I call God was being with me, the little girl who thinks that God can paint hope in the sky and thinks it's the most miraculous thing ever. And wow. Now I'm 2 months before the suicide. Still don't know that. I just know that that rainbow means over the interstate means I am not alone. And the day of the suicide, when I did get back home that day and I looked out the window and saw that same horizon where this rainbow had happened a full year earlier, I knew. I knew somehow that things were going to be redeemed. I also knew I couldn't do it alone. And that unlocked a willingness to say to this love I call God, bring it. I can't do this without you. It's too much. And that was the moment that really unlocked me all those years ago. This is now 12 years ago with the follow-up, that 11 years ago, 3 months before the suicide. And today, I'm still unpacking the many, many, many layers of that vision. But the biggest one was, we are loved. We are loved in such an intimate way that God would, if I had blown off the rainbow and I came close, I know now, I did not know then, I know now that love would have come at me a different way. It wouldn't have given up, because that love I call God knew that I was gonna need this, and I needed him not to be Whitebearded Guy anymore. I needed all of it to get through, and I have all of it, and I still need all of it. And now with the world on fire and the vitriol going on in discourse, I want you to know that too. I want you to not blow off. This love knows you so intimately. It won't be a rainbow, but there will be some way that you're going to have that aha feeling of, oh, that was for me. And it'll be a feeling of love and hope. That's all it can ever be. It won't be, you're right and let's go get them, they're wrong. It won't be that. It'll be, honey, I love you. Let's cry together, and let's try together to love better today than we loved yesterday. So join me in that goal. Let's all try to love better today than we loved yesterday. Clearly, we need each other, and we need that love buoying us up. Thank you.